I didn't sleep well that night. I tossed and turned on my bed like someone under a heavy cast. Something wasn't right, and deep down, I knew what it was. It was her, Veronica, my father's ex wife. I don't know how to explain it, but ever since the day of my father's funeral, the day she showed up dressed in all white, looking like some rich widow from a Yoruba movie, nothing had been the same. She smiled too much. She touched me too much. She stared at me like she was looking at something she owned. And now she had started calling me late at night, whispering strange things, things that made the hair on my arms stand. "You're my king," she said the first time. I thought it was a mistake. Maybe she dialed the wrong number. Maybe she was drunk. Or maybe, just maybe, the devil himself had taken a Lagos BRT bus to my doorstep. But the second time, the third, the gifts she started sending, I couldn't deny it anymore. She was serious. She wanted me, her former stepson. Me. Who does that? That morning, I stepped out of my flat in Surulere, hoping a walk would help clear my mind. The streets were alive as usual. Mama Bisi was already selling akara under the mango tree, and the loudspeaker from the nearby church was shouting something about breaking every yoke. I needed my own yoke broken because something or someone was tying me up spiritually. Veronica. She didn't look a day older than 35, though she had divorced my father almost 15 years ago. Her skin still glowed, her hips still curved like a sculpture from Benin, and her eyes, those eyes could cut through steel. But beneath all that beauty was a strange kind of evil, the kind that smiled while pouring poison in your drink. I was walking toward the junction when my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered. "Hello?" Silence. Then I heard her voice. "I made ogbono soup," Veronica said. "Your favorite." My throat dried. I never told her that ogbono was my favorite, not even when I was a teenager living under her roof. "How did you know that?" I asked quietly. She laughed. It wasn't a normal laugh. It echoed, like it had a second voice behind it. "I know many things about you, darling." "More than you know about yourself." I hung up immediately. I needed answers. So I decided to visit Mama Ronke, an old friend of my late mother. She lived at Mushin, just around Isolo Road. Everyone called her a prayer warrior, but those who knew her well knew she saw things, deep things. When I got to her house, she was already waiting by the doorway like she had seen me coming. "Veronica has returned," she said, before I even opened my mouth. I nearly collapsed. "How?" "She visited me last night, in the spirit, wearing red and smiling." My chest tightened. "I didn't invite her or," Mama Ronki continued, "but she came anyway. Told me to stay out of your matter, that it's already done." I sat down. Mama Ronki poured me a cup of cold zobo and placed a hand on my shoulder. "You have to be careful, Tundi," she said softly. "She's not like other women. Veronica doesn't want you for love. She wants you for power." I blinked. "Power?" She nodded. "Some women go to shrines to get money, others to keep their men. But Veronica," she went beyond. "She joined something dark, something that feeds on blood ties. Your father broke their bond when he divorced her, but she's found a new way in." "Me?" I said. Mama Ronk nodded again. "You are her new doorway." That night I couldn't sleep again. I kept hearing things, whispers, chants. I closed my eyes and I saw her face, her red lips, her smooth, untouched skin. Her arms stretched toward me like a mother calling her child. But her eyes, they weren't normal. They glowed like burning coal. The next day I stayed indoors. I switched off my phone, closed all the windows, and tried to focus on my breathing. I told myself it was all a dream, that maybe I was losing my mind. Until around 3 p.m., someone knocked on my door. Soft, gentle. Just once. I waited. Maybe it was the neighbors. Then I heard her voice. "Tunde, open." I brought pepper soup. My heart froze. She was here. at my house. I peeked through the curtain. Veronica stood at the door, wearing a wrapper tied tightly around her chest, exposing shoulders that still looked 20 years younger than her real age. She held a flask in one hand and a small leather bag in the other. I didn't open the door. I couldn't. She stood there for another minute, then dropped the flask and walked away. I waited 30 minutes before opening the door and collecting it. I didn't open the flask, I didn't touch the food, I threw it away. But that wasn't the end. That night, my dreams were not mine anymore. I found myself standing in the middle of a large compound, all white. The sky was dark, thunder rumbled overhead, but the ground didn't shake. Veronica stood there wearing a crown. She smiled at me. Then, one by one, other women appeared behind her, all in white, all barefoot, all chanting my name. Tunde! 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 I woke up screaming. Sweat soaked my bed sheets. And on my bedside table, the same flask I threw away was sitting there, dry, empty. I ran to the church the next morning, straight to Pastor Dayo of the Winners' Assembly around Ojuelegba. He laid hands on me, poured anointing oil on my head, and started shouting prayers. For 3 hours, I stayed there, kneeling, praying, crying, begging. He said I should go home and fast for 7 days. No meat, no women, no calls from unknown numbers. I obeyed, I tried. But on the third night of the fast, she appeared again, this time in my living room, in real life, not in a dream, not on the phone, not in spirit, in flesh, wearing a black gown, sitting on my chair, sipping from the same flask I had thrown away. "Why are you fighting me?" she asked softly. I couldn't speak. "Tunde, I loved your father, but he was weak. You're different, strong, bold, perfect." She stood up and walked towards me. Her perfume hit me first. It smelled like old roses mixed with rain and something else, something rotten. "You are mine now," she whispered. I tried to speak, but my lips were glued. She kissed my forehead and walked out. And as she closed the door, she said one thing: "Whether by love or by blood, you will be mine." Now I sit here, shaking as I write this down. I don't know who to tell, who to run to. I've blocked her number, burned the flask, changed my locks, but she keeps coming. In my dreams, in my house, in my blood, and deep down, a voice is beginning to whisper back. It sounds like me, but it's not. And it keeps asking one question: what if you want her too?